Hello, hello, everyone. My name is Corey Davidson, and I'm here with Yaila and Peyton. And if you've seen our videos before, good for you. We have tons of them. This is our energy update for October 2022, where we're going to do the astrology. We're going to get a message from the Pleiades, and we're going to get a collective energy read for the month of October 2022. It's a very popular video, so enjoy it. Let's start with, who wants to start today? Peyton, will you start us off, please?
Absolutely. Hey, y'all, I am Peyton, and as you may know, I channel the Pleiadian High Council. So every month I check in with the Pleiadians to see what do we have coming up for us in the next month. What advice or suggestions do the Pleiadians have for us? And what are the energetic themes that we can expect to see in the next 30 days? So when I checked in with the Pleiadians this month to see what's going to be coming down the line in October, the first thing they had for us is they said they wanted to reassure us. They know that we are going through a very challenging time here on the planet. And so they wanted to just provide some reassurance for us. So what they described as their viewpoint, or what they see happening in the collective right now, is they see that our framework of reality is breaking down. And so they said that when that happens in a collective, it can be very destabilizing. It can make us feel very uncertain, very much not knowing what direction to go in. So they said what they're noticing in the collective is a feeling of despair and hopelessness, that things aren't changing. They aren't moving fast enough. So one of the first things they wanted us to know is that huge changes, or what they call great changes, are actually underway. And the analogy that they gave is, they said one of the reasons we're not seeing the results yet is that it's like trying to see a blade of grass from a moving train. They said, you guys are moving through timelines so quickly that you just can't quite see the progress you're making. So they wanted to let us know that we are changing dramatically. We just might not yet be able to see the changes that have been made. And so one of the reasons for this, they said, is as we shift grids, and as y'all know, we are moving from the 3D grid to the 5D grid. And what happens is our old world, our old version of reality, starts to crumble. And what happens as that occurs is it causes our minds to freak out a bit. Our minds are having trouble processing the new energies that are coming in. They can't really make sense of it. And so that can cause us to kind of freak out a little bit because we don't know what's coming. We don't know what the next move is, where we are headed. So what they're saying is that is just a sign that you are shifting reality paradigms. So they wanted us to be reassured that everything is moving forward. We are making major changes as a collective. We're just going so fast, we can't quite see the results of that yet. So that is one thing that they wanted us to just understand so we could breathe a little easier. Now, something else that they said they are noticing in the collective as we break through this paradigm change we are going through is that they said that they're seeing the collective react in one of two ways. They said they are seeing a lot of people handle these energies by having a feeling of chaos in their lives. So especially they said people who haven't done a ton of their personal work might translate these energies or experience these energies through chaos in their life experience. But for many light workers and people who have done a lot of their self-growth work, they said what they are seeing is that many light workers are starting to feel a sense of stillness, a sense of emptiness as we move through these energies. So what they wanted us to understand is no matter where you are on that scale, It's just an indicator of how you're processing these new energies as we shift from one reality system to a completely new system. So I asked them then, well, what advice do they have for us as we move through these energies? And the first thing they said is they encourage us not to push against anything. They said, as you move into the 5D energies, these new planetary energies that are coming in, the new paradigm is to let things come to you. They said it's going to be very tempting for your human brains to want to force things, to make things happen, to do. But they said that is the 3D operating system. So what they encourage us to do in October is just be, to not force anything. Because as I said, forcing won't get you anywhere in the new grid system. It is all about letting things come to you. So that's the first thing that they had for us in terms of advice of how to move through the energies in October. Something else they also encouraged us to do is to prepare our bodies. So they said anything you can do to take care of your body, to give your body what it's craving will be very beneficial to you. So whether that is eating higher vibrational foods, drinking more water, getting more exercise, more sunlight, whatever is calling to you will be very beneficial because our bodies have to learn to process these energies too. And the energies can be very stressful on our physical systems. So prepare your body, nurture your body however you can. The next thing they had for us in terms of advice is they said that we will be seeing the 3D world pulling back from us. They said this should be very obvious to all light workers and starseeds at this point. They said that the 3D world for most of the awakened community is starting to feel like a bad movie, that it's pulling away from you. It's not as much in your face, not causing as much frustration. And they encouraged us to view that as a manifestation of our progress. So that is a great sign if you are one of the many people who you're seeing all the drama kind of take a back seat. It's just not as in your face as it used to be. So they said that is something that should be very apparent to all light workers and starseeds at this point in the journey. So look for that in October if it's not something that you have noticed yet. It's really fun when you start to see it. And then the other thing they said that we can expect in October, and this is especially for those light workers who work very closely with their guide team, with their spirit guides, with maybe your star family. They said it's very expected, very normal if you feel your guide team pulling back a bit, taking a bit more of a back seat. They said that is something the guides are doing to let us get stabilized and balanced for the next step. And I have noticed this with my guides who are normally very much with me in my energy field all the time. I have felt them step back. And so they said that's normal. And that's something you can look for in October as you prepare for this next phase. So let's see, what else did they have for us? Oh, I always ask them about energetic themes, what is coming up. And our themes for October are trust and surrender. They said in these energies, it can be very challenging for us to trust because we can't yet see. Our mind is still trying to figure out how to translate these higher dimensional energies. And so we don't quite have the reflection necessarily of the new world, the new earth that we're moving to, but they said trust that it is there. And along with trust always goes surrender, which is turning this over, trusting that your higher self has planned this, knows the next step, and has you covered. So those are going to be our themes for October. And then the last thing that I always like to check in on is our ascension progress. And this month, y'all, it was a little weird. Usually when I ask the Pleiadians about this, they chatter and have a big update for us. They were very tight-lipped when I asked the question this month. And so what they said is they are reluctant at this point to give us more specifics, because when things don't happen, the human collective, especially the awakened collective, gets very discouraged. So the guides are playing this a little close to the vest right now. What they did say is that it will happen very quickly. It will happen without warning. So they didn't want to go into too much more detail. And the only other thing I could get from them on our ascension progress is that they kind of took a little bit of a tough love approach with me this time, which they don't usually do. They said, we encourage light workers not to be victims when it comes to the ascension process. They said, so many in the awakened community are waiting for something outside of you to happen. And you think it's dependent on what everyone else is doing. And they said, you create it all. So they encouraged all light workers and starseeds who are very excited about the ascension process to stand in our creator shoes. They said, you create it all, including the timing. So they encourage us, if you are anxious for the ascension process, to call it in. Be a creator. Don't give your power up to waiting to see what the world does, what someone tells you is happening. They said, you are the one who makes it happen. So that was all I could get from them on Ascension this month. So a little bit of a different approach from what they normally give me. So that is what we are looking at for October, according to the Pleiadians. Yaila, what are you getting as a collective reading?
Thank you so much, Peyton. It's so funny because as you were sharing the messages from the Pleiadians, I was reminded of a conversation I was just having right before we're filming this. And some of the themes in our conversation with my best friend was around surrender, was around this emptying of energy. So let me just tap into the collective. And I just do that right here in the video. So give me just 1 second. And I always just like to ask for a blessing for anybody watching this video receives the information and healing that's in alignment for their highest and best good. And I always just ask for guidance to bring forth that information that's helpful. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Very interesting. So when I'm tapping into the collective, I always like to put up a rose that kind of represents the collective energy, and I look to see what color the rose turns. And as I was watching the rose, it was kind of shifting through like a rainbow of colors, and then it just shone as this really beautiful white light. So let me just ask what that white light is representing, because that's kind of what it stayed at. And I normally don't try to read from white, but they collective is saying to share from this bright white. So let me just tap into that. When I'm asking what the bright white is representing for the collective right now, they're saying all encompassing. So encompassing your journey up to this point, encompassing the values that you've tapped into, encompassing the work that you've done for yourself or you are in the process of doing, and just encompassing those healthy daily habits that are really important for you. All of these things are coming together now for your highest and best good. And they keep showing the light getting brighter and brighter and brighter. And it feels like that is kind of rippling out through the rest of your life and the rest of this month. The words coming in for October, it feels like it's going to be a big month. It feels like there's going to be a lot of new opportunities, new shifts, new changes, new ways of viewing the world. I'm just hearing new, all encompassing across the board. It just feels like it's a lot of turning point type of energy for those of you watching. So let me just ask a little bit deeper. I always like to ask, what's something that is helpful for the collective to know? What's helpful for the collective to know about October 2022? It's interesting. They're bringing up the energy of regret. So regretting maybe what you've done in the past and regretting what you haven't done or you have done. They're bringing up the frequency of regret to not let yourself get wrapped up in what your regrets are, but to just view that as far as regrets and letting it go. So tapping into what you wish you could have done better, what you wish you could have done more of or less of, or in a different way. Understand that, why that regret is there, so you can make the next steps more in alignment for yourself, but also not to let that be your defining story. So moving forward, present moment energy forward. So don't get too wrapped up in past regrets, because all that's doing is keeping you kind of stuck and blocked from your next step. So just be mindful about where your regrets are at, what you're regretting in the moment. And you don't want to, there's kind of like, what energy are you feeding? Are you feeding the energy towards the direction that you want to go? Or are you feeding energy from where you've been? So focusing on what the regrets are showing you for that. Okay, I always just like to see what we can look out for, watch out for, or maybe keep an eye out for the collective. And they're giving me the word space. When I ask what space is representing for people, it's giving yourself the space to really let that all-encompassing energy take shape, take form. And just kind of going back to the previous conversation with a friend of mine, a lot of the energy work process and kind of her journey in the yoga path, and, even how Corey, Peyton, and I shared our videos, a lot of this work is really about releasing or emptying out or clearing out all the old ways that have kept us stuck or blocked or programmed into our space. So all those things are keeping us out of alignment to our heart and to our higher self and to the divine, the universe, God, whatever you like to call it. So with the word space, what they're bringing in is creating that space for yourself to really feel in where you want to be, where you want to be going, creating physical space around you from people, places, things that are pulling you down, that have you regret those interactions later, that have you feel out of alignment. So letting yourself take that space to really get clear on your next steps. There's no rush. There's no forced deadline that has to come in. So letting yourself just really take that time and space for yourself to just be in the process, to be in the present moment as much as you can. And let me just ask if there is anything else for the collective that's helpful for them to know for October. They're also bringing trust and surrender, but let me just see if there is anything else in addition to outside of what Peyton was calling in. It's kind of that old quote I'm hearing, what you seek is also seeking you. So looking at, again, what do you want to align with, and seek out those people, places, things, that space, that frequency, where you can put your energy and your time and really connect to those things that you're truly seeking, because those are also seeking you. So it feels like we're in a really strong creation process for October, whether we want to be or not. We might be, I don't want to use the word forced to create where we want to be, but almost, we're strongly being nudged in the direction of what we actually want to be creating. So what you seek is also seeking you. So really be mindful about what's showing up in your world, and is it what you want? Where do you want to go? So making that time and space for that, and letting go of the past, any past regrets or things holding you away from that alignment. Feels like it's going to be a really strong focus for the month of October. So that's what I have for the collective. Miss Corey, what do you got for the Astrology Report?
Ooh, nice, ladies. Really nice. Well, the astrology is, I feel like a broken record. And one day soon, I won't have to keep saying this. But as we are heading towards the Aquarian age, we are breaking down old systems. And October is going to ramp up. It's a lot of ramped up energy. And so we before October 2nd, we've had 6 planets in retrograde, which is rare. And retrograde means we review, we reflect, we rewind, we go back and see what we have done. And so when the planets go forward, we're able to act on some of that. So in October, we have 3 planets that are going direct. We have Mercury is going to go direct on the 2nd of October. On the 8th of October, Pluto is going to go direct. And on the 22nd of October, Saturn is going to go direct. So what does this mean? So Mercury is going to go direct in Virgo. So Mercury is the mind. And Virgo is the planet of, on the lower frequency, it could be very critical, it can be very judgmental. And on the higher frequency, it's purity, it's service. So all the things that, you know, we've been thinking about during Mercury retrograde. I don't know about you, but boy, it was a strong Mercury retrograde. I'm sure it was for you. Leave a comment. Let us know how your Mercury retrograde was. But so it's able to move forward. Now, keep in mind that 2 weeks from the time that it goes direct, we're still in shadow. So it's going to slowly go direct, but we'll be out of the really thick muck of that Mercury retrograde. Okay. So Virgo is really about, you know, service work. You know, have you thought about maybe, you know, how can you be of service to the community? Or, you know, maybe a community that you felt connected to. Maybe during the retrograde, you may have found that maybe that's not the right community for you. So we get the opportunity on October 2nd that Mercury is going to go direct. And it will take 2 weeks to be in full direct. But the energy switch will be really nice. And then that October 8th, and Pluto is in Capricorn, is going to go direct. And this gives, you know, Capricorn is about business. It's about higher structures, government, schools, banks, institutions. That's what Capricorn is about. And Pluto is the planet of the underground. So in the review phase, when it was retrograde, you know, it was all about, you know, all the institutions that are being taken down right now, quite honestly. And so when it moves forward on October 8th, it will be moving forward. Again, that 2-week shadow period. So we will see a big switch in energy. What will that look like? Well, if Capricorn rules governments, banks, schools, institutions, and Pluto is hidden secrets, retrograde, it would have been all the discovery. And so moving forward, those things might be revealed. And keep in mind that this is what we need to move into the Aquarian age. All that doesn't work, all hidden secrets that have been kept from us, or the collective, or maybe even personally, need to be reviewed, like we were all talking about personal healing, you know, looking at ourselves and healing all our wounds, our beliefs, our core values in this energy work that all three of us do. So on the collective, it's much the same thing. So that will go direct. So there might be some new business opportunities that come up, maybe business that you've been doing, and in the retrograde, you know, kind of reviewed, took stock of what, you know, that business may need. You're able to move forward on that. And then on October 22nd, that Saturn in Aquarius goes direct. So Saturn is the principal. It's the disciplinary. It's the timekeeper. It's the planet that kicks your butt, quite honestly. And it's in Aquarius. So it's going to go direct it almost at the end of the month, October 22nd. So when Saturn entered Aquarius, or went retrograde actually in Aquarius in 2021, you know, we had a lot of riots and that sort of thing. Aquarius is power to the people, humanitarianism, the future, astrology. The collective, that's what Aquarius rules. And so Saturn says, well, if you haven't done things the way that is for all of our highest and greatest good, you're going to know about it. So that will be an energy shift. So we've been in this just 6 planets retrograde, this feeling of just lulling, things not moving. And that is what's been happening. And now all of this is going to start moving forward. So it may feel chaotic. It may throw us off balance. But know that if we keep in mind what is for the highest and greatest good for all, because of that Saturn in Aquarius, not just individually, but for individually and for everyone, the community, the collective, that's the direction you want to go. So moving on from that, we've got the North Node and Uranus. North Node is our destiny point. It's been a big theme for quite a while now. And the North Node is in Taurus, which rules food, money, comfort, slow and steady wins the race. Taurus is a very slow moving planet. So if you're feeling frustrated that things aren't moving fast enough, well, that's the North Node in Taurus. It's things that we build on a long-term basis. So anything that you've been working on, and you might feel a little frustrated because it's not moving fast enough, well, because that's the energy of the North Node, destiny point, that we have to work steadily, long-term. This is building our long-term future in Taurus, okay? It is going to be coupled with Uranus, which is electricity, the future, very fast moving. It's in the sign of Taurus, slow and steady. So if you've, felt like that push, pull, come on, let's go. I don't know if I want change. We got to go. We got to change. Things have to change. I'm not ready. Can we do it a little bit at a time? Uranus goes, no, gotta go. That's going to be a continuing theme in October. So, and this too is concerning, money and food. We see, like in the world right now, food is lots of food plants being blown up, all sorts of things regarding food. And Taurus rules agriculture and food. So growing your own food, you can't grow a garden overnight. It takes time. Okay. And money. How are we doing your finances? Finding a different way to do finances, because the old systems are being torn down. So not to panic, but these energies afford us that opportunity and has been giving us that push to take a look at these things. And how are we going to do it differently? Okay. Because North Node is that destiny point in Taurus, slow and steady, long term. And that Uranus in Taurus wants to do it quickly. But Uranus is also the future. So in the future, how are you going to do your food, your money? What do you value? Taurus says, what do you value? And we've had the opportunities to take a look in all these retrogrades. What do we value? What really means a lot to us? Okay. So on October 9th, and as I have not said this yet, but in every, energy update, half of the energy is going to be in Libra, and the second half of October is going to be in Scorpio. So Libra is justice, relationships, balance, harmony. So the first half of October is predominantly that energy. And so on the 9th, Libra is in, the sun is in Libra. That means it's Libra season, halfway through, half of the month. And it's going to be conjunct with Venus. Venus is the love planet. Now, Libra doesn't like it when people aren't getting along. And Libra always sometimes gets into trouble because it weighs things out, which is actually a great thing. Sometimes they weigh things out a little too long. Okay. So, but it's a good energy. It is a good positive energy. This month has some gnarly energy, and it has a bit of a reprieve energy where things are good and sweet and harmonious. We have that opportunity to be harmonious. And a lot of things have been about relationships. How do you do relationships? What do you value in relationships? Have you gotten a relationship? Have you gotten into a relationship? Is a relationship ending? That is the Libra and Venus together. But sometimes, weigh it out a little too much, a little too long, where it blows up. All right. It's also the scales of justice. So we're seeing a lot of energy with the justice system. The scales of justice. Are these situations justified, or are they not? All right. So on the 10th, Mercury goes into Libra. Mercury, the mind, goes into Libra. So that's an air sign. Think. Think about, should I? Shouldn't I? Those scales, balancing it out. Should I? Shouldn't I? Should I? Shouldn't I? But it also, Libra is a very fun sign. They like to have a lot of fun. And because it's Mercury, and because Libra is an air sign, there's opportunity to have, because it's in the 3rd house, actually, we're gonna have opportunities to have some really good conversations. Maybe some conversations that challenge what you think you know, or challenge what you believe. So ultimately, Libra likes harmony. They don't like people, they don't like disharmony. So it is a really good opportunity for great communication. All right. And on the 23rd, the sun goes into Scorpio. So we're going to move into Scorpio season. And Scorpio rules sex, power, greed, psychics, transformation. If the Scorpio can take a look at the deep, dark secrets, it can be transformed into that higher realms of spirituality. It's a big gift of Scorpio. We're also moving into fall, right? Fall. And so Scorpio rules the darkness as well, right? Because we're moving into fall. On the 25th, the sun, moon, Venus are all going to be in Scorpio. The sun is our life force energy. The moon is our emotions, and Venus is what we love. So all those coupled together make some very strong Scorpio influence. So it is, do we want to transform those hidden secrets, those things that we don't want other people to see? We're going to see that also on the collective. Hidden secrets coming out. The light is going to shine on the hidden secrets because Pluto is the ruler of Scorpio. And, what does Scorpio love? Scorpio is a water sign. So it is very intense. Scorpio is an intense sign, which is amazing. And yet on the lower end, not so much. So we're going to see some intensity ramp up second half of October because we're going into Scorpio season. And then on the 29th, Mercury, the mind, moves into Scorpio. So it's that deep thinking. Mercury's the mind. Scorpio is a very deep, intense sign. So deep thoughts, secrets revealed. And also watch out for being manipulated or manipulating others, because Scorpio also rules manipulation, which is amazing if you're transforming it and using it for good. Manipulating energy as to being that psychic, that mystic, that has the ability to see any spiritual form that they want to see. All right. We have the full moon in Aries coming. Aries rules the head. So, and that's on October 9th. So before that, you might have headaches. You might be thinking. Aries rules the self. Their keyword is I am. All right. And so full moons are about releasing. And it's a third house full moon, the third house of Gemini, which is ruled by Mercury, which is the mind, which is communication. All right. So maybe the keywords that it represents is I speak, I am. So it's a time maybe to take a look at, maybe release like how we speak and what is the meaning behind our words. Letting go of emotional, baggage. Maybe take a look at, before, usually about 7 to 10 days before full moon, we feel that energy. So you might be triggered and you might find that anger comes up or impatience comes up, or the Aries, because it's the I am, all these sentences that start with I, we are moving. The Aquarian age is more about service to others, and Aries is about service to self. Now we talk a lot about in our energy videos about how we have to do our own work. Nobody can do the inner work but you. But in so doing that inner work, we're able to go out into the world and share it with others, and therefore become a collective of like-minded. Okay. So Aries can be all about the me. And so it's a great time to take a look at those maybe service to self things that pop up. Anger, impatience, arrogance, maybe talking over people. That's Aries trait. When you're talking to somebody and they just barge in and just talk right over you. These we have the opportunities to take a look at during this Aries full moon and release them, because they will pop up. Every full moon that we have always triggers what that sign is in and the house that it's in. And so it's Aries in the third house, communication. So it's a time to release how we communicate. And what is the meaning behind our communication? Are you communicating from the self, all about the self? Are you communicating as a service to the collective? Learning, listening. And when we need to communicate, are we communicating from anger and arrogance? Are we communicating from love and acceptance? All right. Let's see. And then also too, what I wanted to say is Aries always overdoes it. Go, 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 go. Fire sign. I have so many Aries people in my life. And I'm always telling them, watch it, don't overdo it. Because where can you look in your life where you're overdoing it and not allowing yourself to rest? We're moving into a paradigm, as the other ladies have shared, where overdoing it, overworking, isn't what we're taking to the new paradigm. So be aware that during that full moon, are you overdoing it? Are you not giving yourself enough rest? And the balance of that. All right. And then we have and finally we have the new moon on October 25th in Scorpio. Dun, dun, dun. No. And, Scorpio rules the reproductive organs. So the new moon is about manifesting. And this is a great new moon. And the reason is because it's in the second house of Taurus, money, food, agriculture, value. What do you value? And so it's about, taking a look at like the way that you make money, maybe the way that you spend it, being of service, and accepting the community. Maybe it's a great opportunity to transmute a lot of the lower vibration Scorpio traits and transmute them, because Scorpio is amazing at transforming things. Dark to light. Scorpio can look in the depths of darkness, but in so doing that, can come up and transmute it into light to help others, psychics, mediums. That's the higher side of Scorpio, and they're amazing at transforming and transmuting energy. So this is a great new moon to be able to do that. So it would be like fear into light, animosity, transform it into understanding, power versus empowering, So instead of Scorpio rules that power, you can transmute it into empowerment, empowering others, empowering yourself, instead of taking power, abusing power, but transmuting it into empowering yourself and others. Control. Scorpio also rules control. Control, transmute it into harmony. So instead of controlling and being overbearing of others, use it and transmute it into harmony, where everyone can have a piece of the control. That's the Aquarian age, power to the people. So instead of being controlling, empowering others, to be in harmony, so that we can move into this Aquarian age together. Got to do the inner work first, though, not to take away from that. All right, and so October is going to be an intense month, because the old structures, we are October, November, and December. are going to be very intense and strong. So like the other lady said, the Pleiadians as well, what do you want to focus? You can stay in the fear and hide, or we can focus on what we want our new world to look like. You know, focus on the faith, the trust, the magic, instead of the fear and the anger and the separation of one another, from one another. So as long as you can stay in that, as we're moving 3D to 5D, in that frequency of love, all will be well. And to trust that there is a universe, a universal energy that has your back if you allow it. So hang on to your hats. Don't be afraid. Stay in the love frequency. Everything will be okay. So that's what I've got. Anything else, ladies? Thank you so much for joining us. We love that you have made this energy update so popular that we continue to do it. We enjoy doing it too, actually. And we do these videos for you. So please like and share, subscribe or follow or comment. We love your comments. We love when you share with us how our words or our energy affects you and the input that you have for us, because we're all in this together. So thank you for being with us. And until next time, bye for now.